Hello, so we got a kind of a fun one today. So what actually, if you're going to buy an iMac right now in 2019, middle of 2019, which iMac is probably the best one you should buy right now? Go ahead and stay tuned and we're going to go through that. Alright, so if you watch my channel a lot, I bought a bunch of 2011 iMacs and I got them for pretty cheap. I bought the 27-inch and the 21.5-inch. And I got them for only like just under $300. I actually used an external LaCie, basically a SSD drive through a Thunderbolt connection to run my OS off of it. Extremely fast systems, but 2011 is in a little bit of trouble only because obviously with 2011 we're coming up on that date where you can't run Mojave any longer. You can kind of get it on there if you want to, but it's going to be a little bit of an issue in the coming years, and you're going to probably have some security issues as well. So it's something to think about there. So really I'm going to go from the 2019 models really to maybe the 2012, somewhere in that range. The new design obviously started in 2012. 2012 can also be pretty easily upgraded to Mojave pretty quickly, so without doing any little tweaks and stuff. So I'm going to stick in that range, but I'm going to go through a couple different ones. I think they may be good choices right now. And you'll be shocked maybe what I say. Maybe you won't, but I want to hear your comments. So definitely post things in the comments and let me know what you guys think, if you agree or not. And then let's get into this. Oh yeah, before I get into this, I forgot one key thing. My decision is going to be based on what you're actually going to do with these systems. So for example, if you're a video editor, it's going to maybe be a little bit different than if you're just kind of a normal person that likes to look on, go on the web and obviously buy things and stuff like that. So it just depends on what you're actually going to be doing with these systems. And I'll kind of put it into a couple different categories. So maybe for more of the professional, and someone that's more of kind of a leisure person that just wants kind of a good screen and basically good access to the internet and things like that. So I'll give a couple different models on why I chose them. And obviously there's not one good model for everybody, but there is probably the best model, I would say, universally, that's going to be for a person buying one of these systems that you can get right now for the cost. And I'll go ahead and give a number 1, number 2, maybe number 3, and I'll give reasoning for them. So stay tuned and we're going to dive into it. Alright, so I'm going to actually recommend 3 different iMacs depending on your budget, and then also if you're maybe a power user or do things for video. So it's going to be a couple different models here. The very first one that I'm going to start with is going to be the 2012. This is the 27-inch iMac. It's basically, if you look here, it's a 3.4 gigahertz i7, 1 terabyte. It's got the Fusion drive, so you can add the external SSD if you want to boot your OS off of that. It does have the Thunderbolt port, 16 gigs of RAM. And this is a grade C. You can see in the picture here, if I show it to you really quickly, it's going to be pretty beat up. It's going to have a couple dents and things on the front of it. But the screen's perfect condition, and it's got, I'll show you in a second, a 10 out of 10 as far as the other parts of the actual working screen and everything else. So if you can deal with a couple dents, I mean, obviously in the back of it, you're not going to have any problems. It's going to be pretty clean. So this is going to be one that you can pick up, very inexpensive, 16 gigs of RAM for about $551. This is obviously going to change, but this, these are all going to be different. But this one's as low as $551. So if you want basically a 5K experience, or actually, I'm sorry, this is not the 5K model. This is the 1440p model. But still, if 5K doesn't matter to you and actually you want to spend the least amount of money, this also is the newest version, which is going to be the thin version, so it's going to be the one that's 2011 had the thicker one. This one's going to be the thinner version of it, and also you can do Mojave on this one as well. This is the last model where you can load Mojave on it, without doing, some kind of tweak and stuff. You can do it kind of, what they support actually. So keep that in mind when you buy this one as well. So if you go down here though, obviously there's another picture of it for $551, and it does say that it's got the 16 gigs of RAM, it's got the Fusion drive, so you should be able to run, do video editing and things like that. It's got a 1024 NVIDIA GeForce GTX 675MX, and it does have, functional description 10 out of 10. So it's pretty good for the money. So this would be my number 3 choice, and the reason is if you're kind of on a budget, this is the model and year I'd recommend right now for just doing really basic tasks, but the experience won't change much from a new one. It's just going to be a little bit slower. Alright, so my number 2 is going to be the 2015 27-inch iMac, and this is actually going to be one of the first ones you can get with the 5K screen, and it's one of the main reasons I recommend this one. Generally, this one's $944, you can see here, but it's an upgraded model. You can usually find these in the $700 to $800 to $900, somewhere in that range, so they can go as low as about $700, as high as about this. If you look up here, though, this is going to be a 5K iMac. 2015 27-inch. It's got the i5. It does have a Fusion drive. Of course, you can run the SSD off the external if you want, but it also has the 24 gigs of RAM, which is usually an upgrade. You can pick these up for, like I said, around that $800 to $900. If you look at this one, it's going to be, these ones are in pretty good shape. This is going to be a grade B. So, obviously this company that I usually buy mine from, if you look at this, it's going to be pretty much flawless. Grade B is pretty much flawless. There might be a couple little scratches on it and stuff, but they sell pretty good equipment. There's not a lot of marks on them and things like that. So good place to buy from. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I just tend to buy a lot of iMacs from them. You can also upgrade the RAM in this pretty easily. But the reason for going with this one over any other one is really, you can go with the 2014 and get a couple $100 off, but you're not getting the 5K screen. You're at that 1440 still. So definitely, look at this one. You can pick these up in that range, and this is going to be my number 2, and this is going to be primarily for people that might be getting up to a little bit more lower end video editing and things like that. It's got 2 gigabytes of AMD Radeon R9 M30, so it's got a pretty good graphics card and 24 gigs of RAM. So you can definitely do some video editing with this one on kind of a budget. I guess you're getting a little bit higher here. But if you don't want to spend double this on a new one, this is probably your best bet for number 2. Alright, so my number 1 is going to actually be, if you have enough money, is going to just be the 2019 iMac 27-inch. So if you look at this, you can definitely get, it's going to be around $1,800, $1,900 depending on the model you get if you want the i5. But it's basically going to move you up to a 6-core 8th generation i5, so you're going to definitely have 6 cores. It's going to give you 2 more cores. So if you do things like video editing and things like that, it's definitely the one I recommend. Obviously the price didn't go up too much from some of the earlier models when they were new, and you do get the 6-core. That's going to be kind of a brand new thing. It's not going to be the 4-core anymore, so it's going to help you with that kind of stuff. Plus you get obviously the 5K, and you're going to get the upgraded. Sometimes you can get different video cards as well, but this one comes with the 575X, the Radeon Pro, and it's got 4 gigabytes of GDDR memory, so definitely a big upgrade from some of the earlier versions. So if you're a power user, this is the one that I would recommend, obviously, if you wanted to buy new. Now down here you can add, for $500, you can add the 8th and 9th generation i9 processor, and that's going to be a huge boost for you as well. So if you have a budget of that $2,400 range, somewhere in there, $2,499, and you're going to be doing a lot of video editing, maybe in 4K and things like that, $2,500 is maybe about where you'd be. Anywhere from that, depending on $2,000, $2,500, depending on the model here of the CPU. If you go down here, the only other thing I'd really recommend, you can buy the memory yourself and still install it, so I wouldn't buy it through Apple. Obviously they overcharge you for that, it seems like in some cases, but obviously do what you need to do there. On the storage side, this comes with the Fusion drive. Some people are kind of against that. You might want to upgrade here to the 256 SSD. It's only $100 more. And then you can obviously use external storage running through some of the fast connections for some other stuff. But anyways, since they did these upgrades to the 6-core, definitely I think it's an upgrade if you want to do that. And obviously it's going to help you with video editing and things like that. Plus, you're not going to save a lot of money if you buy a 1 or 2 year old model. You might as well get the newest and best, and it's going to probably be supported a lot longer. So that'll be my number 1, even though this is more for somebody that has the budget and is a little bit more of a power user. All right, so basically that's my choices. So obviously everyone's going to be a little bit different, but definitely leave your comments, and maybe if you can post comments and let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your choices would be and why. I can definitely make another video on this. Those are my choices for the reasons I laid out, and obviously, again, I use mine a little bit differently than most. I'm not like a huge power user, but I do a lot of video editing and things like that, and I just want something that's going to run sufficiently, or I'm not basically spending 3 or 4 times as much as I need to. So these are pretty good units, but definitely do your own research, obviously. Just post some comments. I want to hear what everyone has to say, and obviously I post a bunch of videos, maybe 2 to 3 a week. Some of it's on Macintoshes and technology reviews, things like that. I do investing videos. Obviously you need money to buy stuff, so watch those as well. And I do some fun travel ones as well, so if you guys like to travel, go out and look at those as well. Please hit the subscribe button if you can help me out, and we'll see you guys maybe in a week and maybe in a couple days. Take care.